Hey, what's up, guys? Hope everyone's doing well and you're enjoying the hobby. Coins, boom. Um, Anyways, I'm Sean with Blue Ridge Silverhound. If you guys don't know me yet, so what I have here is a little stack of 12 coins that we are going to send off to PCGS. Now, by the time you watch this video, this more than likely will be already out. But I wanted to take some time to talk about something very exciting here. I haven't done a real PCGS submission for myself up until now. And I had received through a purchase quite a stunning collection of Buffalo nickels. And this is one, ladies and gentlemen, that could bear a lot of fruit. You know, we're talking huge potential here with these coins. Now, a few of these I had sold on Whatnot to a couple collectors on there, and we're gonna grade those too. So all of these all originated from me, and then I sold about half of these, half of the 12, to customers, and we're gonna send them on by and see what they get, and then we'll talk about what I believe or expect the grading to come back as, and talk a little bit about, I guess, PCGS price guide value is a good starting place, but there's always like a 10-20% deviation, either downwards or upwards of that number. As far as like to be a little bit more on par of what the market does on these coins. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Maybe, and by the way, that's my wife in the background shipping out Whatnot orders. She's a savage. So you're going to hear like tape smacking in the background and things like that. I do apologize about that, but we are a working YouTube family over here. So the action doesn't stop. We are maximizing minutes in the hobby, and yeah, more to come. Stay tuned. Let's see what we get on these here. All right, ladies and gents, here we go. So we're just going to go through each coin. If there's anything kind of like that we need to talk about as far as the finer points, I'll let you guys know. But anyways, here's the first coin that we're going to submit. So we're kind of like going out guns blazing here. This is one of the biggest coins, I would say, in the whole submission. This is actually a 1914 D. I don't even see the, probably can't get up close there, but 1914 D. Buffalo coming up first here is a stunner. This particular coin right here exhibits very strong luster, which is something that you see very early on in the series. It's not until about 1919 where you begin to see the luster really muted, and you begin to see more of like a satiny finish. When we get into 1920, 1921 in this particular series, you have a lot of luster loss just due to overall just really bad quality. You have much more of a mushy strike on a lot of the coins. And just overall, it just wasn't a very good decade. So, 1920s are quite challenging for grading up into, like if you're looking for coins that, like, say, are AU 55 and higher, that's going to be just incredibly difficult to find on a lot of those 1920s dated coins. But getting back into the teens, the Denver and San Francisco issues are all very nice. They all exhibit very well, and they present very well. This one right here is quite nice. Now, I think this one will probably be somewhere mid-state 63 to 64. 64 would be better because it bumps the price up, close to $1,000. What I do see here, there's a little bit of a carbon spot right there. I don't know if you saw it, but that looks like there's might be like a very light contact scratch right there across the belly. But outside of that, the obverse is really strong on this one. It doesn't really have anything in the way of distracting marks or anything like that. everything is just on the reverse. But a very tough, very scarce date in mid-state condition. Glad to kind of lead off on that. Now, a lot of you probably know about this one. This one came into collection as well, 1937D. Buffalo nickel, and yes, it is a little bit circulated on there, but this is the money shot. There you go, three legs, and it is legit. So on this particular coin right here, in order to determine if the coin is real and not a counterfeit, there's a few things that you need to be on the lookout for. Like if you're looking on the obverse here, and this is on every single three-legger, right here on the back of the neck, you're going to see some pebbling right there, kind of like dye deterioration right on the back of the Indian's neck right there. I don't know if I said Buffalo's neck, but no, Indian's neck. Maybe his name's Buffalo. Buffalo Bob or Buffalo Bill. I don't know. But yeah, on the back of the Indian's neck, you're going to see this roughness right there. That is normal, and that's what you want to see, because this is one of the most highly counterfeited coins here, aside from like the 16D Mercury and a few others. Now, obviously, you have the over-braided die, which obliterated this front forward leg here. Coin-wise, I believe this one will come back XF40, which would be great. XF45 would be a huge bonus. Now, PCGS has a guide value on this in 40 of 1125. But most examples have been selling right around 850 to 925. So obviously there is some discrepancy there. But you know, if it's in a graded holder, it might command more higher on that spectrum than it would not, because you know there are quite a few of these that have sold raw. Now on the reverse, what we're looking for is a highly deteriorated back leg, like you see here on this one. But also this is something, and someone had made a joke or kind of like question like, P-line, what is that? And that is exactly what you see here. It's a raised surface of in relief of this die right here, right in this empty area. You could see it, let's see, right there. Kind of like a rainbow shower. That's what we call P-line. Now, our Buffalo Buddy's little unit is like right here behind the leg here, so we would assume, you know, when he's urinating, that's what it looks like. But you're going to see that on all of the legitimate three-legged buffalo types. So this is one of them right here. Okay. So that one we're excited to get back. These were all, by the way, in an album, which is very cool. It was someone's collection that they've been putting together over the course of, you know, a few decades, going all the way back to the late 70s. So back in the day, they had the ability to buy a lot of these higher grade, pricier caliber coins for a lesser price. You can imagine that, you know, that $1,000 three-legged buffalo you were able to buy back in 1980 for probably what, $100 or so. So here's one that we also did sell as well. This is actually a very tough date, 1928S. I believe it's an S. Let me see. I have a lot of D and S in here. Yes, this is indeed the S Mint. Believe it or not, in low mid-state condition, this coin right here is right around $500. So I would venture to guess this one will probably end up in either a one holder or a two holder. But this is more or less the case of what we were seeing from the 1920s of the Buffalo nickel, just really unspectacular luster. You know, the luster can look a little bit shiny in certain occasions. This one is a really, really nice piece. Very, very deceptive because it has a much more glossier appearance than, say, that 1914 we looked at. But keep in mind that that is just par for the course for the 1920s. So a very tough date. And once you get into mid-state condition for a 28S, the values are very deceptive. You know, the prices go up quite a bit from like AU50 to that mid-state level. Here's another one right here that is as tough. Now, this one right here, unfortunately, I believe is not going to be mint state. 1920 S is another tough date. 20S, 19S, kind of like people figured 19D and 19S being kind of like the condition standard bearers of like the most difficult dates to grade up. All right, so this is one of them right here. This one I believe probably will end up in like a AU55 holder, but even still in that holder, it's like a $400 coin. But it's always good to have something like that in a PCGS holder as opposed to having it raw. And then, a lot of people will kind of like decide, well, I believe it's an XF, or another guy says, oh, it's mint state 61. And what we want to do is we want to take premium pieces like this, take them off the market, get them in a graded holder, and kind of like end the conversation there. Because, once this comes back, whatever it comes back as, that's the undisputed truth for the coin. So 20S, really nice, beautiful, again, about uncirculated coin there with some nice die clashing. Next one that we have here. This is actually a very nice minty fresh, but toned. This one was, I'm a venture guess, this one was probably hiding in an old Wait Raymond album. This one here is a 35D. But there is lots of luster underneath all of that gold toned skin under there. So we're looking on this one to get some sort of mint state grade and have a true view done. So that way we have the photos to match. And again, that'll put this coin, probably, we're trying to aim here for about 300-400 on this one. It is a tougher date. 1935, most people don't associate with that with being a tougher date, but nobody thought the same about 1934 and 34D. And then we see how much those things sell for in today's crazy market. Here's another one I'm glad to have here. I'm a little bit kind of like on the fence of what this one will do. This is a 1913 Type 2. This is our Denver coin right here. This is the Denver Type 2, which is quite a tough date. This one right here, we're hoping this one to be about mint state 62. Lots of luster. Again, this one was holed up in an album, developing some sort of toned skin on there, which mutes down not only the luster, but the overall satiny appearance of the coin. But outside of that, this is going to be a real beauty. We're going to get true views on this one as well. And we're looking forward to getting this one back. Nice tough date there. Here is also, this is the toned, this is the most beautiful toned buffalo out of the crop. This is the 1919. You got a very nice kind of like olive green obverse with little hints of magenta in there. And then when we show the reverse, we have like fiery reds and orange and green all throughout the reverse on this one. 1919 Philly. Again, we're really aiming for a grade somewhere around 64 or 5 on this one with true views. So again, that'll be a nice piece for the owner. This is one that we ended up selling on Whatnot. Coming up next here, this is actually a very tough date, and this one right here will probably end up being an XF something or another, whether it's a 40-45. It's going to be really truly up to the whole graders, but it's a 15S. 15S. And believe it or not, in XF 40 to 45, it's still 3 bills. So very worthwhile being in a holder. And I usually have a lot of people ask me, hey, Sean, what would be worth it to me for a coin and value that you would submit? And I would say $250 is kind of like where I'm at right there, because anything less than that probably wouldn't be worth it as much to me. Number one, I don't do group submissions, nor do I do high volume submissions. So I don't send off like 100-piece graded submission. I usually do 10, 20 pieces at a time. The group submissions, I made an exception with this particular one because this is just such a really pretty collection that ended up coming in. But yeah, this one I'm looking forward to getting back. The writing is really on the wall of this one, grade-wise. Again, we're looking at 40 or 45. Take your pick. The pricing really changes $25. All right, we got a couple very spicy ones here. Here is the 1916. This is one that probably the one that I'm most excited about in this submission because this one's a grade extremely, extremely high. This one right here, I'm going to guess, is going to be somewhere in that 65, 66 range. And the prices can be any more polarizingly different from one grade level to another. About one of the cleanest 16Ds I've ever seen. It's a very, very scarce state in mid-state. In the 65 grade, PCGS has a guide value of $1,850. However, one little small move upwards, like for example, if this got a 6.5 plus grade, that'll push it up to $3,000. If it gets a 66 grade, that's $7,000. So a pretty big discrepancy from that regular 5 grade to a 6 grade. We are kind of like crossing our fingers on this one, that this one will cross either to that half grade to the plus or to the 6. We'll see. It's close. It's going to be close. It's a very clean example with very little in the way of distracting marks or planchet nicks. We have a couple coins remaining here. This is another beauty. My goodness. I'm glad to have this one here in this submission. Been wanting one of these for a long time, especially a nicer grade. This one right here, I believe, will probably end up a slider. That AU58 kind of like grade, but it's a 13S Type 2 reverse. So it features the buffalo on the flat mound, as you can see there. Sorry, yeah, these holders attract a lot of dust. So there you go. That's one of the key rarities. You already saw a couple of them in here. This one very valuable across all grade levels, even going all the way down to poor, and then all the way up to mid state. These things shoot up into the stratosphere. But this is a very beautiful coin. Again, I'm kind of like, if it came back a 5, I'd be okay with it. An 858 would be good. If it even touches mid state, I would be tickled pink. But I do not believe this one will be a mid state grade of any type. It just has a little bit of high wear on all the devices. This one right here, I'm happy to have found in the collection. It's not a particularly high-grade specimen. This is a 36D 3.5 legs. So it's got the partially abraded front leg there. You can see that where the hoof is very light. But you could also see the abrasion on all the other legs too, very light. Now this one is not as nearly as strong as the 37D, obvious reasons there, where you have full abraded die effect on that 37D, where you only have just a little bit of abrasion on this one. This one right here, I believe, will be right around fine 15, which puts it right around $1,200. Believe it or not, it's a much more valuable and scarce coin in comparison to the 37D. So excited about that one. That's my second 3.5 leg 3060 that I've ever found. And then finally, we also have this toned 84 that we're sending off for a customer as well. We had sold this one on Whatnot. It's a 84O, very common date, but we're going to get the true views on this one for the customer. You just have like really nice kind of swath of blue on here. Very attractive original skin. So there you go. That's the final coin in the mix. And so there it goes. So that's my submission of 12 coins that we are going to be sending out. Half of it's mine, so that's why I'm excited and be willing to talk about it. And you know, I'm more kind of, and the reason why I don't do nearly as many kind of like grading submission videos is I don't do a lot of them. You know, I did a lot of them, as you guys know, about 11, 12 years ago, trying to chase some of the registry kind of top pop coins on like much more common dates, 1960s Lincoln cents. I don't know if you guys remember, we were trying to do that chase for the 63D and the top pop, and it just didn't work out. We ended up with a lot of mid-state 66 reds. You know, at the time I was selling them for about $150 a piece, which was okay, but you know, I was gunning for the first 67 and it just didn't work out. You know, there were a few 67s out there for a 63D, but it was something that it was more or less a learning experience. My expectations were that I was going to knock it out of the park, and then, you know, after losing some money and then kind of like chasing my way out of it, and then now we're good. On that submission, or a few, so it was like 5 or 6 submissions. At my lowest point, I think I was down $6,000, and that's all it just like grading submission fees and all that stuff. And then we caught up all the way to dead even on the last submission, so it worked out there. But this one I feel a lot more confident because we're dealing with more obsolete classic type coins, and this is kind of like my bread and butter right here. But we'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you think about the submission? If you guys have any questions about coin grading, please go ahead and post them below. I'll do my best to address them. Thank you guys again for tuning in, and wish me luck. And I will see you guys on the next coin video. Peace.